everybody. Happy February. I feel like this year is getting off to such a slow start. And even February, it is February 3rd as I'm recording this, and I feel slow. I feel unmotivated. I feel just kind of tired and like I'm resisting everything I know I need to do. And I know from experience that at this point, when I'm feeling this way, it's a balance. If I try to push myself too hard, I'm going to end up in burnout. If I allow myself to just rest and not get anything done, I'm going to end up in depression. So for me, I have to start getting things done, start building positive momentum. So today, what we're going to do, I already did, first of all, go to my very first workout that I have done in years, like out of the house. I went to Jazzercise, which felt really good. I forgot how much my body loves to dance and got a little bit emotional about it. I'm not going to lie, just for various reasons we won't get into right now, but just sometimes allowing yourself to go and just feel free for a little while feels healing, and it pushes you outside your comfort zone. And that's kind of what I was going through today. And then I got home and had a coffee and got showered and ready for the day, and immediately started to feel like, okay, I could go to sleep. And I know I recognize this in myself, that it's not that I actually need rest. It's just that I'm in resistance mode. I pushed myself to do something that I really wanted to do, and now my brain is saying, no, you can't keep doing good things. Like, let's punish yourself. I know that doesn't fully make sense, but that's sort of part of the dance of productivity for me. And so I'm looking and starting in this room. I did not do a full New Year reset routine or anything this year. I set up my planners. I made my plan for the quarter, but I didn't really do a full reset. So my Kanban boards are still sitting where they were in October of last year. The room started to get clean. I showed that, I think, in a reel recently, but then I did the notebook challenge. I started digging into the closet and pulling stuff out. So this room is kind of a mess again. It's in transition of being cleaned. My bedroom, George is washing the sheets, so we'll get that all cleaned up later. I need to clean my bathroom. I also have a few calendars in and around the house, like this one right here, that need to be reset for 2026. So off to a bit of a slow start. Let me know in the comments if you felt like you're off to a slow start. The last few years I just have been. Like, I don't get that New Year motivation until closer to like Chinese New Year or, spring or something like that. It's just been kind of a hibernating mode, but I'm actually ready to get moving. I want to do a February rough draft challenge this month because I want to finish all the edits on my latest book, A Mirror of Shadows, and get that published, start writing book 2. And it's the first month I don't have a course launch going on in a long time. So I am looking forward to focusing on my writing. But in order to really do that, I got to get myself into a better mood. And part of that is just cleaning up my space. So come join me for a February monthly reset. And I hope that watching me push through my resistance and get things done and make things feel better will help you as well. And it's not just going to be work because, like I said, it's a balance. So I'm also going to treat myself tonight to a bath, maybe some gaming time, some reading time, and we're going to take, not all work. We're going to make sure we're playing just as hard as we're working and nurturing ourselves along the way. So let's get going.
I wanna get to your clothes, gotta get it right now. I wanna push all the limits with you right now. So watch your feelings, the city's screaming, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. People talk and tell what you wanna hear now, but they all disappear, they will let you down. So we better stick together, let's come whatever. We're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. We only need the two of us together. I need only you in this crazy world. 'Cause we got love, love. I need only you here reason, but you're trying to deny that we should be together. It's heavy weather, we're heading for tonight. You better take what you can, cause the time is right now.
Okay, so I have been working for about an hour just in this one room. And part of the reason it's taking so much time is because usually I will just clean everything by just stashing things in a place where they seem to fit. Which I know is not the best way to actually clean. So this time what I'm trying to do throughout the whole house this year is really establish systems that are going to work out better. And this space at one point was organized really well, but I just ended up not being able to keep up with that style of organization. Like some of the pages, some of the things I use the most were not actually organized in the way that I would use them. And so now I'm kind of going back to that, and I want to make this as nice of a space as possible. I also have this silhouette in here that I have barely used at all since I bought it, and I wanted it so badly and then haven't hardly used it because inside here connected to my Mac, it's not really working right. So I'm going to try moving this out to my other office and using it with my PC instead of my Mac, because online research says that sometimes the Mac is not the best for the silhouette, but we'll see if it's that or if it's user error. I don't know, but I'm going to try to move some of this out. I've got to go eat some lunch, but some of the hardest thing to do is to organize all the papers, because it's like, what is a sticker sheet and what is 32-pound paper? What is 28-pound paper? And trying to just feel the difference is just taking some time, but I know it's going to feel really good when it's done. So I got my Kanban board also organized in terms of cleared. I still have to make my sticky notes. So we're going to get as much done today as possible. It's about 12:30, and I will check in with you guys after lunch. While the Roomba is sweeping the floor in my office, I'm going to work on this hall calendar. So these are quite huge. If you see, this is my hand compared to it. This takes up pretty much the entire wall, and I think it is one of the coolest things that I've bought just for being able to see things really big and eagle eye view. I love it. They are just sort of waxy. They're not laminated. They're just sort of waxy paper, coated paper. And I like to use chalk markers on them and set them up for each year. And then we can put family vacations, launches, other things like that, and just see eagle eye view kind of what's going on. I do the same calendar in my other office as well, just because I like having calendars in every area that I'm working in. So let's get this one set up. All right, my room is looking so much better. It's not perfect, but we did just run the Roomba in here so that the floor would look a little bit better. I feel pretty proud of how it's looking. I need to bring everything back in. The closet is also looking so nice and organized, and all my papers are now labeled, and it just feels so much better. It definitely helps my mood. And I was so on task, on track, but then I found inside here a bag full of pens, and that set me on a tangent of grabbing all of the pens that I could find in the house and reorganizing all of my pens, because over time I have these pen cups kind of all over the house, and I'll just have like a little bit of this kind of marker, so I don't have them in sets. And so I just started putting together sets. So now the floor of my bedroom is just covered in pens. And so We've just finished dinner. It is almost 7 o'clock and I need to get that wrapped up so that I can clean the bedroom. And I also still have these naked Kanban boards and I really wanted to get that set out tomorrow. So I think my plan for the evening, because I still got to get Evie to bed, I've got a little bit of like me time that I want to have, and I'm practicing with Andrew for spelling bee. So I got to get the pens done. I'm going to work on my sticky notes for the Kanban board, and I think I'm going to watch a little bit of Gossip Girl, and then I'll get back to the reset tomorrow. But like, here's a full set of the Erin Condren dual tip markers, and they just look so pretty all together in a little set. So I feel like my work is not wasted, but it's definitely a tangent. Hello, good morning. How are you doing today? It's February 4th. I just made a coffee. I do have a dermatology appointment today, so I can't spend the whole morning doing stuff. And I actually got off to a little bit of a slow start, just kind of taking my mornings easier some lately so that I'm not so stressed out and just like easing into the day, especially because it's so cold in the mornings. But anyway, I do feel some momentum after working out yesterday. It's like every muscle in my body is sore, and that feels so good because I just have been feeling like the whispers of, you got to get into the gym, you got to start working out, you got to start getting fit, you have to get healthier. And it felt really good to do that yesterday, even though I feel a lot of resistance towards working out. I don't know why. I think it's just because I haven't always felt comfortable in my body. And so getting out there and like using your body for movements, like I'm very comfortable using my brain. But, you know, exercising just feels very, it's very body focused, obviously, and that has not always felt safe and good for me. And so this year I'm changing that. I'm getting stronger. I'm taking care of my body. And it's gonna change my life. I really truly feel that way. So yesterday was the first day of that. I went to Jazzercise, which I loved Jazzercise, getting ready for my wedding back in 2009. I went to Jazzercise almost every single day, and it's just a fun way to dance. Jazzercise, Zumba. I used to do, I did the Cindy Crawford workout back in the day. There's a little bit of dancing. I did a Paula Abdul, literal videotape, VCR tape, years ago. There's nothing like dancing for a workout. I super love it. Highly recommend it if you have a Jazzercise near you. Ours literally just opened, and so that was my first class, and it was only their second day open. So I'm going to go back tomorrow, but today we are focused on reset. I have a dermatology appointment coming up, so I'm going to get as much done as I can this morning. But between the workout and getting this one room clean, because like I said, I didn't just get it clean. I started really, truly organizing. So putting things where they will live forever rather than just stashing things away. And the biggest piece of this is the closet, the work that I did in the closet. So I'm hoping that you guys will never see the room as messy as it was ever again. And I'm really trying to make big changes this year because I know that the cleaner my house is, the more organized my creative spaces are, the more likely I am to want to go into those spaces and be creative. Whereas when it feels like it's messy or I can't find things, it always is an interruption to the flow of creativity. So my other goal for today is to get my writing office like that as well, and to get all my tasks up on the board over here. So I do have my sticky notes. I have some of them already made. If you are new here, and you haven't seen a video from me before, or you haven't watched a reset from me before, part of how I plan and get a lot done. So I have two main careers. I have a career as a full-time author, but also a career here on YouTube teaching courses. I have an Etsy shop. So there's a lot of different aspects of what I do. And the way that I keep it all managed in terms of my time, not that I always do it perfectly, never do it perfectly, but it does help a lot to have a plan for 90 days. So I make a plan for 90 days and then I set my goals and then I decide what projects I can take on to help me hit that goal. So for example, if I said I want to hit 83,000 subscribers on YouTube this quarter, then I would plan out what videos, what shorts, what other strategies I'm going to use to try to reach that goal. And so I set an outcome goal and then I say what projects will help me get there. And then I break those projects down into tiny little bite-sized tasks. And then I write every single task on a Post-it note. And I like this sort of 1.5 by 2 inch. I think it is I forget. These are 3 by 3s. So this is like a 1.5 by 2 inch Post-it. And I actually like the colors better of the 3 by 3s. So I just cut mine down, which I know is a bit extra, but I like it. And I have 3 boards over on the wall. And those 3 boards are where I will put my tasks. And I arrange them according to all the tasks at the top are the stuff that I'm currently to do and then doing, and then done goes down to the bottom. I'll show you when we get over there. I already have my purple notes done. I think I have them all done. This is for the entire quarter. So I've got this set and this set kind of over here in the corner. These are my writing goal Post-it notes. The pink ones will be for heart breathings, YouTube courses, and the blue are more for like admin and learning and sort of catch-all sort of stuff. And I'm excited. I've had my plan done since December, but I haven't actually put the sticky notes on the board. And the reason the sticky notes on the board is important to me is because out of sight, out of mind. When it's just in a planner, especially if there's not a deadline attached to it where someone's expecting something from me, if it's in a calendar online or just in a planner closed up, I will forget that I need to work on it until it's like due tomorrow. And so I have them all on the board so I can look at it every day and say, okay, what's coming up? What are my big deadlines? And that has been super helpful. Take a sip of coffee. It's like when it's cold out, coffee just hits the spot, right? It's just so good. All right. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys, I've had this for about a week and I haven't opened it. I backed this on, I think, Kickstarter or GoFundMe, or I forget which one of the things, but this is called a BYOK, which the BYOK is like BYOB, except BYOK is bring your own keyboard. And I think I backed this a couple of years ago, but you know, manufacturing takes time. So we're gonna unbox this. I am so excited for it. So you have this little screen, magnetic back. Then we have just a little braided cable and a magnetic ring. So the magnetic ring, if I can get this open, is kind of like a little kickstand. So you can have something super tiny. Oh my gosh, this is not easy to open. Hold please. Okay, I got it. So just like MagSafe, right? I think it probably goes this way. You just clip it on, slip it on there, and then it can stay on the back, but then when you pull the ring out, you can, it's coming off. So you can tilt it however you want it to be, and then you can just use it. So it's basically a screen. Bring your own keyboard means that you can connect it to any Bluetooth keyboard. So instead of having to bring your whole laptop or have any other kind of special device or use your phone and get distracted, you can have this distraction-free device to go ahead and just bring your own keyboard and write. I will keep you guys updated on what I think of this little device. I did also get a stand, so I think that's probably what's in here. Hold on. Okay, I do officially have it working and pretty easy to connect to my keyboard. So here is what the lights look like. It looks like through the camera, it looks a little bit more like these lights are really bright, but they're not really as bright as it appears. But you can go completely dim, or you can add some backlighting to it. And, you know, it's connected to the keyboard, so anything you're putting in. And then on the back here is all the navigation keys. So you've got brightness, you've got a like forward and backward, up and down key with a selection key is the one that has a little dot on it. So you can sync it as well. So I'll have to set it up to sync. I'm guessing I can probably set it up to sync with my email or Google Docs, but I will keep you guys updated on how it's going. But yeah, the case or the stand is pretty cool. And then I also got just a carrying case. I'm gonna have to go soon, but I want to finish my coffee. Also, so I had shown you guys my new Hello Cleo bag for my Kindle. This cute little cherries, I got this for my birthday from my daughter. And I have a new Kindle Color Soft, and it fits perfectly inside. But one of the things that I had wanted to do was to put some of my enamel pins on the strap. So I did that last night, and I think it turned out so cute. I just love the little flare and the extra things on top. I actually don't love the way that I placed these glasses, so I might take them off or put something else right here. But otherwise, I think it's super cute and whimsical and fun, and I love it. So I'm going to take that with me. But before I go to dermatologist, let's talk real quick about my February writing goals. In the month of February, and really for a good portion of 2026, I'm going to be working on my series, The Shadow Games. This is a spinoff of my Shadow Demons saga, which I'm also hoping to finish this year. So I have at least one book to edit and minimum 3 books to write this year. It's going to be a busy year. If I want to, well, I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, because I don't know about you, but I can plan a series, but the story's just going to be as long as the story's going to be. So for example, A Mirror of Shadows, which is book 1 in the series, I thought was going to be about 40,000 words, kind of max 50,000. And it ended up being somewhere around 63,000 words. So the story just kept expanding, and there was no way to shorten it. It just needed that much space. And I didn't know that when I was plotting it. It just took over. And some books are like that. Some books I can say, this is going to be 75,000 words, and it ends up around that. But for the most part, historically, my stories end up a lot bigger than I expect them to be. So Shadow Demon Saga was originally called the Peachville High Demons series, and I thought it was going to be a trilogy, and now it has, you know, become a 12-book series with multiple spin-offs. So you just never know, and I like to let my imagination go where it wants to go. I don't try to force it to be shorter or anything like that, because I just feel like the story needs what it needs, and I have to follow that. Otherwise, it's not going to be as good as it could potentially be. So that doesn't always mean longer, but it just means following your intuition about what the story really needs. So anyway, it has changed my plans for this series, because originally I thought it was going to be 5 books, but I thought they would each be about 40,000 words. So I was planning for 200,000 words. Now I'm 63,000 words into book 1, but I'm going to be adding around 12,000 words over the next week. Hopefully that's part of my goals, and finishing the book somewhere around 75,000 words. So if I was hoping for 200,000 and that's what I plotted it to be, it's possible it will only be 3 books. I don't know. I am kind of at the whims of fate when it comes to this, but I do have some index cards and things that I have started to set up for this that I need to adjust based on the length. And also, I was reading this first book. I read it on my YouTube channel, my Sarra Cannon YouTube channel, in October and November. It was 12 episodes. That was the plan. Ended up being 13 episodes, and episode 13 was like 10,000 words long. So that's not going to work. So we're going to adjust. And for book 2's readings, we're going to plan for 16 episodes over the course of 8 weeks. So I'm taking everything I've learned from reading the first book and trying to make book 2 better and bigger from the start. So my goals for February, I am doing a February rough draft challenge, and I actually set up the undated planner in my main planner. I'll see if I can pull to the pages and I'll show you guys. if you want to, you can set this up for yourself as well. And we're going to be hanging out and holding each other accountable over my Discord server. If you want to come join us, the link is in the description down below, and then you can just scroll down until you see the Hardys Hangout, and then inside there's a channel called Rough Draft Challenge. And inside my resource library, I have a link to this planner. So I have this currently printed in my disc bound writing planner. If you want to see a full flip through of what's in here, I will leave a link to that video for you down below. But I just printed this out, and because this is Happy Planner size, I printed it at 82% because it's a letter size file. This is the undated Rough Draft Challenge planner. It's the same thing that I did for the Rough Draft Challenge in November, but just undated so that you can set your own custom goal and run it at any time. I don't know how much I'll use this tracking spread, but the main thing that I wanted to print out was the weekly and daily pages. I know that I had asked some of you, would you like to see this dated daily for the whole year? But I just never had time to put it together. So maybe I'll still put it out, but for monthly, and just put it in the resource library for you guys. But for now, you can just put your own dates here. And if you're starting on the 4th, you could just not print it until the Thursday page or the Wednesday page or whatever it may be. But on this page, you basically have a chance to put your goal and everything else. There is a lot more in this planner that I didn't print. That was all the plotting stuff. I did not print that because I already have plotting sheets, but there's all of that stuff. And if you want to see a walkthrough of everything that's in here, I will link that for you down below as well. But this is totally free to grab for anybody who's on my newsletter list. If you're not on my list, I will leave a link below for how you can join it, and you can just get all my free resources to print yourself. But it basically is a point for you to put your intentions for the day, the scenes you want to write, a word count tracker, what your mood is, what you're loving about the story, and then a wrap up of like how you're doing so far. Essentially, the Rough Draft Challenge is just a challenge any given month to focus on a rough draft or edits, or focus on your writing project and kind of eliminate some other distractions, set a goal for yourself. If you're somebody like me who gets very motivated by having a deadline or having an external goal, rather than just being like, I'll write as much as I can this month, this can be super helpful. Plus the fact that we have other people going through it and cheering each other on. If you need that extra accountability, come join us. It'll be super fun. So my goal is a little bit strange because I am not doing just a rough draft. What I want to do is edit all of A Mirror of Shadows and start writing the draft of A Throne of Thorns, which is book 2. And figuring out how to count edits can be a little bit difficult because it's not new words, but because I'm putting it all in one goal, I'm just going to count it all as words. So basically what I'm going to do is set a 100,000 word goal for the month of February, but those are not all intended to be new words. I don't even know that I could write 100,000 words in a month unless I did nothing else but writing. And even then, I think it would be a major challenge emotionally to do that. But what I am hoping to do is to add those 12,000 words to A Mirror of Shadows and then edit the rest of the 63,000 something words. So that's 75,000 words that will be a mix of new words and edited words for A Mirror of Shadows. And then I want to add at least 25,000 new words for the draft of A Throne of Thorns. I'm going on a writing retreat to Waco with my friend Megan. I did a writing retreat with her last year and it was so much fun. And we were supposed to do it in January, but then the snowstorm held us back. So we're going to go in late February. I will be vlogging that. And I really want, by the time we head out to that on the 22nd, for me to be done with A Mirror of Shadows, that book up on pre-order, and A Throne of Thorns ready to be written so that I can write like maybe 20,000 words while we're at that retreat. So those are my goals for February. So 100,000 words, although it's really 37,000 new words and the rest edited. And we'll see how it goes. The timeline might be too ambitious, but I'm excited to spend some time on my writing this month. I think it's going to be really fun. Okay, side note, part of getting better routines and keeping things more organized, I know this goes without saying, but I just am going to say it anyway because this is what I'm focusing on right now is, you know, I'm used to being creative, on to the next thing, thinking about the future. And so often I am just buzzing around. I'll finish recording something and I'll just get up and head to the next thing. And that is how things end up on the floor or tossed wherever because I'm just thinking about what's coming up next. And that is fine overall in and of itself. But then never coming back to clean it means that things start to get messier. And then the more disorganized it gets, the less likely I am to keep feeling creative. And so I'm trying to bust out of those cycles, which I know are part of having complex PTSD, part of just healing and moving forward. And so that means being more intentional. So I literally just unboxed this BYOK and then walked out of this room with the box on the floor, all of the little pieces of plastic and things that I tore up just still sitting on the desk. And I walked out and walked right back in and thought, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to rush. We're going to be intentional. I would like to keep this box, so I'm going to store this in my closet. All the other boxes have gone to recycling or the little piece of plastic into the trash. And now this room will still be clean when I come back to it. And I know that's such a small thing. And there's a little bit of that embarrassment and shame to be like, yes, at my age, I still am throwing things on the floor and rushing to the next thing. But you know, we are where we are, and feeling ashamed of who we are and where we are in our healing process does not actually help us continuing to heal. So I'm sharing it and I am moving past it, and I'm intentionally making changes in my life. And dang, that feels really good. Next up on the cleaning front is this room. And truth be told, I don't think this is going to take anywhere near as long as the previous room, just because most of the floor space is clean. I have these little boxes that I got from IKEA maybe a couple years ago that we were storing some of our video games in up in the game room, but they have ended up down here and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with them. Although I do think I could use my own video game storage here. So I could mount them on this side, or I could just put them in the corner and stack them up and just have them like a little bookshelf on the floor, which is probably what I'll do for today. Then I've basically just got to clear the desktop, get the floor cleaned off, and I want to set up this silhouette in here. I'm going to set it up on this rolling cart, and I want to get my albums organized and everything. My latest record is K-pop Demon Hunters, but it's just sitting here precariously, so it needs to be protected and put away. Or actually, maybe I'll just put it on and listen to it. Another thing that happens in here a lot, as you can see from the dragon on the floor, is that Evie comes in here and plays. So anyway, I'm gonna just try to go through and clean and tidy up the books a little bit, maybe tidy up the shelves, but for the most part I have a trash bag here and I'm going to get rid of any trash, clean the floors. The closet is pretty well organized, so I'm going to leave that closed, and we're just going to get as much of this top cleaned off so it feels good and ready to work. my loves. My room is done. It is 4:30, so it has taken some time and hanging out with the kids, but I did spend some time just kind of redoing the bookcases and standing the books up. And Evie loves to come in and play with my stuff, so she was moving around like all my unicornos and everything, but it's looking really good right now. And I got my records put away and organized. I created this little tray right here that just has some of the tools that I like to use, like my favorite washi tapes and some lip balm and stuff like that. Then I cleaned up and decluttered the desk portion. I just recently added this little stand here, this monitor stand. Even though my monitors are on arms back there, the stand has been really nice because I can put my phone up here on the top and just a few other little doodads and have a little bit of extra space underneath. And then I did remove previously the monitor that was here, so that gives me more space here. I just really wasn't using it. Oh my gosh, I just realized that my little thing in here still says Christmas, so we got to change that. But otherwise, I think everything is looking really good. I've got the silhouette set up here, but I don't actually have it plugged in or anything, so I'll go down that rabbit hole later. And then I put those little cubbies over here along with my little, it's just a little fridge. It only fits a few little things, but at least I have a few little drinks in here if I need them. And that is the room. So both of my creative spaces, recording spaces, all of that are looking good. And that feels so nice right now. I do need to go practice spelling bee with Andrew and then get dinner ready and get everything that, you know, for the family stuff tonight. But I do still need to make my sticky notes and put up the Kanban board, and then we will be done with our reset. And I got to start writing. So part of my goal right now is to take this graph paper that I've used so much of already and just graph out the plot for book 2 so that I can be talking through it with George. And then also, I don't think I showed you this, but during Rough Draft Challenge in November, I put up like a big white sheet that I was going to use to plot all 5 books of the series. But I decided to switch it out for 3 black panels, and I'm just going to focus on the first 3 books just in case I can fit the whole plot into 3. So let me show you that real quick because I've got to set that up tonight too. So a lot of sticky note work. Okay, so this is now my bedroom. So I'm basically taking over the whole house in terms of things. I have this whiteboard in here that has all my to-do list because I don't have my Kanban board set up. And then this is the plot. So George and I decided to take down the white paper before that we had up and replaced it with this black because I just feel like the sticky notes really pop on the black. So we have it coded to the colors of the covers, A Mirror of Shadows, A Throne of Thorns, and then book 3, which will have a green cover. And I have my color coding, but I have to actually put the plot down and get writing. So let me know if you guys want to see some writing vlogs as I finish this book. Also, I was thinking about doing some uploading vlogs and kind of sharing what I do to get ready for a release and things like that. So let me know if you're interested in that content, but otherwise, hopefully this is going to get done tonight. I feel like there's always just this huge to-do list and I'm always racing to get it all done, but I feel like I've made pretty good progress so far today. Spelling is done, dinner's done. So now I'm going to set up my Kanban board. I have all my sticky notes made. I wanted to just quickly go over what my goals are for this quarter. Obviously, I set these goals in December and I'm already at work on them. So as I set up my Kanban board, I will already have some things that are done. But for those of you that have not seen this system before, I have these 3 boards, but over the years, this has really just been modified. I've been using this system for over 10 years now, or around 10 years now. And it's basically a Kanban board, which was developed by Toyota, an employee at Toyota, maybe in the 80s. And it's a workflow. It typically goes from left to right to doing done, but I do from top to bottom just because that visually works better for my brain, and I'm not working on a team here. It's just me getting things done. So I will have a goal, and I will decide all the tasks that go into trying to hit that goal this quarter. And I compare that to my available time for the quarter, my available energy, what I think I can get done, what I feel like I'm excited for, what I feel like is going to move the needle the most. And then I put all those sticky notes, all those tasks at the top of the board. That is the to-do section for the next 90 days. In this case, I, like I said, set the goals, made the tasks lists in December and started on them. I'm just late getting the board set up. When I choose a task to start working on, I will move it from the to-do section to this middle section, which is the doing, currently working on section. And then when it's finished, it moves to the bottom. The goal is that over the course of 90 days, you move all of the stuff at the top into the doing and finally into the done section. And hopefully once you've done all that work, you then have achieved your goal of finishing the book or making a certain amount of money or increasing your followers or whatever it is you were trying to do. So that is the basics of the HB90 system. Let's talk goals. So I have my goal number 1 is writing. That's going to be all in purple and will go on this first board. Goal number 2 is for heart breathings. Goal number 3 is the catch-all sort of admin goal. So in Q1, the way I've written the goal is I will create sustainable momentum in my author career by writing, publishing, and promoting both new and backlist titles. And then I have milestones I'm trying to hit for income, my Broken Chapter membership, TikTok, which may or may not be a go for me. I have never started a real TikTok, and now seems like not the best time because of some of the changes in ownership. So that's kind of TBD. Newsletter, Instagram, YouTube goals. Goal number 2, I will increase my impact and income by continuing to create quality heartfelt content on heart breathings. I have an income, Instagram, newsletter, and YouTube goal, although I will say this was a very ambitious goal to gain about 1,000 Instagram followers, but I already have not been posting the way that I originally planned. So I might need to sort of backpedal that a little bit. I don't think I'm going to hit this goal, but you never know. And then the final one is just moving towards my dream life by hiring support, creating systems, and nurturing my creative path. And this is part of my Me in Progress year, where I am gearing towards my next big milestone birthday and hoping to really get my systems in place. So those are the goals. Then I broke them down according to time and energy and other things, and I've put every little task onto a sticky note. So let's set up the board. There it is. It's so beautiful. This is my first official to-do list / Kanban board of 2026, and it makes me feel so accomplished and ready to go. A lot of these tasks, or a decent amount of these tasks, got done in January. So the next thing I need to do is actually move the things that have already been done from the to-do section down to the done section. We're going to see how this goes. Last quarter in Q4, I tried only setting up my boards for October, but I got so busy between Spectacular, Preptober, Rough Draft Challenge, I never came back to fill them out for November, and I felt kind of lost for part of that. I was really relying on whiteboards and my planner, and I just really missed having this set up. But then January also got away from me, so it's like sometimes we just have to keep evolving our systems and making sure that we go back to what was working for us in the past. And sometimes that means making it fun again, making it exciting again, or just shifting a little bit of what wasn't working. So for me, this is my to-do list. This is a representation of all the major projects that I want to do to hit my goal for writing this quarter. But in the past, I would take one like this and say A Throne of Thorns, episode 1. This would have been 5 sticky notes, because it would have been every 500 words would have its own sticky note. And so it would end up with really tight stacks like this. And it kind of got not overwhelming exactly, but it just kind of got to where if I wasn't working on a stack for a long time, it was almost like I didn't see it anymore. It was just clutter. And so one of the most important things about trying to find a productivity system that works for you is really just continuing to review what's working for me, what's not working for me, because what used to work for you might not be working anymore. And especially if you have ADHD, it can be super helpful to like mix it up, try new things, change the colors, change the board, change the way that you're using it, move it into a different room, create a smaller Kanban board. So last year at HardyCon, I made these little table tent kind of boards to do, doing, and done. So I have been using this quite a lot, and you can fit little tiny sticky notes or page flags on here. So what I'm trying for this quarter is actually, instead of these really tight stacks of hundreds of Post-it notes, I have gone slightly bigger rocks. So this is one project broken down into 16 episodes, as well as some plotting. So all of this is one project, but when I take on this sticky note or this task of writing episode 1, I will actually write every sprint that I want to do onto a tab and put it at the top of this miniature Kanban board on my desk. And so I've got the larger one that kind of gives me the overview of the quarter, and then the minuscule granular tasks are going on the tiny Kanban board. So I have one in this office, one in my writing office, and I'm hoping that will help me stay connected to my goals. So what I got to do right now is just figure out what's already been done and, make sure that I'm staying on task. If you have really struggled in the past with how do I gain clarity? How do I make sure that I'm not getting distracted by what other people are doing? How do I make sure that I'm not putting too much on my plate and burning myself out? And also, if you have been stuck in a place where you feel like you're busy all the time and you're just not seeing any kind of results, you aren't making more sales, finishing the book, getting more subscribers, I highly recommend some kind of planning by 90 days where you can really tell not only what exactly you're going to do, but at the end of the 90 days, did the work I put in actually get me the result? So if you set a goal of, I want to get 82,000 subscribers on YouTube, did all this project of new videos get you to that number or not? And if not, then next quarter you got to do something different kinds of videos, more videos, whatever it may be. And so this is a really great way to not only limit the amount of stuff you're putting on your plate, but also to judge whether the plan you made gets you to the goal you're trying to achieve. And that has been the biggest game changer for me. And I feel like over the last year or so, I haven't really followed my plan to a T like I used to because of my own resistance and energy and really needing a team. So now that I have a team behind me, I am so ready to really have a great year ahead. So let's pick out what I actually got done and move it to the done section. It's actually kind of nice to already have a bunch of things done. I don't know why I put these on the right side instead of the left, but it doesn't really matter. So here is basically how I use the boards is once I have it all set up for the quarter, every single week when I'm working in my HB90 planner, I will come and look at the boards and I'll say, okay, what's got the deadline or what's the next thing in line that has to get done this week? And I will move those to the doing list. Then I come in, this is kind of ideal. I haven't been doing this obviously because I just set up the board, but ideally I come into this office in the morning to plan my day, take a look at the things that are currently in progress and think, how can I make progress on that today? What do I have energy for? What am I set up for? What's coming up in a deadline? And then hopefully keep moving things down the board. And I don't have to clear everything to reach my goals, but I just have to stay consistent and stay on track. And this has been such a game changer for me. So if you're using HB90, let me know in the comments if you are using a Kanban board still, or like Trello, or if like me, you kind of fell off using it for a while, but you want to get back to it. Or if you also are just now setting up your boards, let me know in the comments. Okay, you guys, that is it for my February reset. Really is kind of my new year reset. My calendars are reset. My rooms are reset. Everything is feeling good, looking good. This is going to be a game changer year. I can feel changes happening in my own mindset, in my body, in my routines, in my habits. But I also know that every time we challenge the status quo of ourselves, like every time we push beyond our limits or we try to heal old patterns, those old patterns come back like to punch you in the face a little bit. And, you know, your old mindsets will come back. And I'm already feeling some of that like just going to work out yesterday, or just cleaning up my office, or just setting my big goal for February of 100K for the Rough Draft Challenge has already started kind of creating negative voices in my head. And the way that I combat that, 1, therapy, 2, journaling, and 3, just a consistent awareness of, I know this is just my mind trying to convince me this is scary, because the status quo is my safety net. And if I change in any way, that feels unsafe. And so I have to convince my body I am safe, everything is okay, I am moving in the right direction. I've been doing a lot of parts work in therapy, which is basically, if you're familiar with internal family systems, this idea of, you know, when those fears come up, there are parts of you that have been put these protective mechanisms in place, and those parts kind of take the driver's seat. And so I've been working a lot, like energy work and coaching and things like that, with those parts of me, like little Sarah. And I think it has been very helpful. So if you also struggle with those patterns, maybe look into the No Bad Parts book, which kind of explains internal family systems, or find a therapist that can help with that. But also, you know, just continuing to tell yourself it's going to be okay. I'm safe. I know this is scary, but this is where I want to be. This is who I want to be. This is how I reach my goals, and everything's going to work out. That, I know it sounds a little bit trite, but those affirmations really do help me. And pushing past the fear to just go ahead and get it cleaned up, and then witnessing it and being like, yes, I know I'm feeling bad because I am stepping outside an old pattern, and it's going to feel better in the long run. It's kind of like having an ongoing conversation with myself in my own mind, but a lot of it's happening in my journal. So I don't know if that helps anybody out there, but if it does, let me know in the comments, or if you have found IFS helpful for you. This is the year I'm going to break through some of these patterns. I'm going to be writing more again. I'm going to be taking better care of my health than ever. I'm going to be the best mom that I can be. And, you know, I think that there is a balance there too, of like not putting so much pressure on myself to heal or be better, just like allowing myself to move at the pace that feels safe and okay for me, but also just drawing a line in the sand and being like, these are things that I know I want to work toward, and I'm going to go after my goals no matter what. For me, those big milestone birthdays are a real push, or like a real kick in the butt, saying like, if you want to be the person you always dreamed you were going to be by this age, it's time to get moving. And so I'm going to use that as motivation as much as possible. But yeah, I'm excited for the new year. The first month was not exactly like what I thought it was going to be. There have been some emotional turmoil and other things, and I think we're all feeling it, but I'm still overall feeling excited for the new year, and excited for what's going to change and shift in my own life. And I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. So if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Come hang out with us in 2026 here on Heart Breathings. And otherwise, I will see you guys soon. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.